Good evening, everyone. The first thing I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I need to start with that. Everybody here today. I also need to thank the Spencer Educational Foundation, its board of directors, in particular Mariah and Ron, for having me here today and for honoring me. It's a great honor. I also thank Spencer for its efforts in funding the education of tomorrow's insurance leaders and everything, quite frankly, that you do for our industry. It's tremendous. When you hear comments about 3 people are leaving our industry for every one that are coming in, there's much that's needed. We all need it in such a great way. I'd like to thank everybody in the insurance industry that's here tonight. All my colleagues, I have mentors here, mentees, people I've known for many, many years, new friends. It's great to see everybody here, whether it be a competitor or somebody I've worked with forever and ever and ever. I'd also like to thank the sponsors and for all your generous contributions. It's great, and what a great entity to put your money behind. I can't imagine much better within the insurance industry. And then finally, I'd like to thank my family. I have a couple family members here at the table with me today, and that means so much to me. It was nice to hear people say in the video, I've never seen that video, and I didn't even get to see much of it, quite frankly, but I did hear people mention family, and that is a very important thing to me, so thank you to my family members that are here today. I'd also like to congratulate the scholars. I mean, what great speeches. I mean, you don't want to go up after people that speak with that level of passion. It's fantastic. If your jobs don't work out at Excel and Price Waterhouse, give me a call. And I'd also like to congratulate Joe. Joe, what a great industry leader, working for a fantastic, one of the industry-leading insurance firms in Excel. It's an honor for me, to be honest, sharing a stage with you. So thank you, Joe, and congratulations. Now, I look around, and thankfully it's really dark out there, so I can't really see all 700 people that are out there. But I will tell you, I look around, and it's a big room, and I'm actually kind of nervous. And not nervous to the extent that I'd have to stand up here and think of everybody here with their underwear on and things of that sort. 5 minutes of excruciating pain, talking to everybody. It's not that kind of nervousness. My nervousness really has been about this. There's 30 of my colleagues from JLT here today, and I thank you all for being here. But at JLT, we honor this thing called, I guess you would call business casual attire. But when I see things like Birkenstocks and V-neck t-shirts and things of that sort, I guess it's more casual attire. And I was very nervous as to whether or not the people would actually dress appropriately for tonight's event. So I'm so happy that they're dressed as opposed to undressed. And as I say that, and as I talk about things like casual attire, my father, who's been in the industry for 50 plus years, which is a tremendous accomplishment in its own right, is sitting at my table tonight. And I talk about those things, and I can just see him. I can barely see him, but I can see that he's cringing right now, this whole concept of going to work without a suit on. It's like I never paid attention to him growing up, and he was always working in insurance, and he always had a suit on. He's never gone into the office without a suit. And so when I talk about those things, I know it's tough for him. And so in front of 700 of my really good friends, Dad, I have a confession to make, and I'm going to do it in front of everybody, and that's when I get into the office in Denver tomorrow, I'm probably going to wear shorts. So, I spoke about my father, and my bloodstock is in insurance. I mean, I almost think it was preordained that I was going to go into the insurance industry, and I think most people that know me know that that's the case. It's something that I've been in for 27 years, but the reality is, as much of my foundation is in education as it is in insurance, I was lucky enough as a sophomore in college to meet my wife. Debbie, who's here with me tonight. And Debbie, I met her at Boston College in the School of Education. She was an educator. And we got married, and I entered into a whole new family of educators. Educators, professors from across the globe, East Coast, West Coast, Ivy League schools, and things of that sort. So education's been a very big part of my life as well. I have a daughter who's getting her master's right now up at Gonzaga, and she's getting her master's in education, higher education, and I'm so proud of her. She's going to be a phenomenal teacher, and it means a lot to me, the whole concept of education. I also had the opportunity in the last couple of years to join a college board myself. And so, I also heard passion. Again, I was standing behind the screen, couldn't see everything that was up there, but I heard a couple people mention passion when it came to me. And when I choose to do something, I need to be passionate about it, and I need to get behind it. And so I sit on this fantastic little college's board, and I'm fascinated by the thought of attracting students and then somehow putting students into the workforce and making sure that as they leave your school that they're prepared to succeed. I have no doubt upon listening to everything that was said earlier tonight by these fine individuals that they've been prepared to really help us in our industry. And so those are two foundational things that are really important to me. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my history of what I've done in insurance and what it means to me. Because I have this opportunity right now to help build something, build a brand new broker here in the U.S. It's a hard thing to do. And I spent my first half of my career in the D&O business, and so many D&O friends are here tonight. And what D&O allowed me to do is spend so much time with C-level risk managers, all the way up to C-level people of some of the most dynamic firms in the world. They didn't have to be large, but they were large in many respects, but they were also really dynamic. And so what does that allow you to do? It allows you to observe what's going on. What are successful C-level people doing in their companies to make sure that they thrive? And so to some extent, I have a little bit of a testing ground to prove everything that I learned over time actually can work. And one of the greatest things that I've learned in my entire career is the firms that make it, the firms that are led by people that are that know how to make the firm successful, have something called passion. Passion is incredible. I mean, I have incredible passion for my family. I have incredible passion for my alma mater, Boston College. I have incredible passion for all things Chicago sports, with the exception of the White Sox. In fact, Joe Taco, I owe him a meeting. I called Joe on November 2nd of 2016. He had his whole team in New York, and I had my whole team here, and we had a big dinner that night. And I'm not sure if I told Joe I was actually in the car on the way to the airport, but I'm telling him now. But I was calling him to tell him I was going to skip the meeting. And the whole reason I was skipping the meeting was the previous night, the Cubs had won Game 6 of the World Series, and I'd gotten a phone call from somebody offering me tickets to Game 7 of the World Series, and I figured I'm a lifelong Cubs fan. I got to go do this. I called Joe, and Joe was so spectacular. He's like, I'd do the same thing. In fact, could I go? And I said, God, if I had another ticket, you could. So, Joe, I mean, much respect for that response, but I do owe you another meeting, or at least a dinner or something of that sort. God, where was I? I digress so much. Passion, passion. But passion is the key to everything in business. And I think as an industry, I've heard so many people talk about the fact that they're in the insurance industry and demur to it. In fact, I've done it myself. I mean, we've all been at a cocktail party, meeting a bunch of people that you don't know, kind of in your own community. And the greatest way to get out of a conversation is when they ask you what you do, you tell them you sell insurance, right? I mean, done. Conversation's over. And then you can just go about, enjoying a glass of wine, which I haven't done tonight yet, by the way. I've been waiting for this all night. Shortly, I'm going to have a glass. But insurance is a great industry. I mean, it brings me to the events of the last 2 weeks in hurricanes Harvey and Irma. There's not anybody in this room that hasn't been indirectly or directly impacted by the events. The worst of Mother Nature is going to bring about the best in our industry. And we're going to help people rebuild their lives and companies get on with things. And that's what's so great about insurance. So we should all be proud to be in this great industry of insurance. And we should be figuring out ways to get people to join this industry with us. And young people to feel this is a great industry to be in. And I have a career. And I don't have to have 11 jobs with 11 different companies over the course of my career. I can find a company or two that really feels passionate about the business and loves what they do, and I want to be a part of it. So it's a challenge to all of us to bring people into this great industry of ours. So in conclusion, I would say this: the world needs our industry. It's undeniable. I've watched the speeches of the people that have won this award. Pat Ryan went through a whole outline of the fact that this business, this industry is never going away. So the world needs our industry. Our industry needs to attract and develop talent. It's undeniable based on the stats. People should feel really proud to work on our industry. And Spencer Foundation is a wonderful conduit to facilitate this. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your support in this honor.